Chance to take a little over 20 years ago. I had the opportunity to do a study trip in seminary to Israel and to spend 2 weeks touring the Holy Land. One of the places that I got to see was the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem, which is built upon the traditional site of Jesus' tomb. You go inside this big, beautiful domed church, you'll see what looks like a little marble building in the middle. This was the traditional site of Jesus' little cave tomb. It's been since covered over in marble and gold leaf, and it's an extremely impressive looking spot. However, it no longer has any resemblance to the spot where Jesus would have been laid after his death. Later that same day, we were on our tour bus and we pulled over on the side of a road outside of Jerusalem, right next to what looked like this little stone hill, one of many of that you would see in that area of the world. The difference was it looked like there was a little hole in the front of it, maybe about 3.5 feet tall, with a stone next to it. They had taken us to actually see a restored 1st century tomb. So we had the opportunity to go inside. Now, it looked like a little dome cave with these little outcrops cut into the sides, maybe a half dozen of them with sand on the bottom. Maybe about, again, 2.5, 3 feet tall, maybe about 8-9 feet deep. This is where they would actually lay somebody after they had passed away, wrapped in a simple shroud, and within about a year, the remains would turn to dust. And if we wanted to, we actually had the opportunity to crawl inside to see what it was like. It had kind of an airy feeling to it, but you could tell it was very strong, very secured, a very safe place to lay a loved one to rest. Now, we know that Jesus rose on Easter Sunday and that the tomb was left empty. But sometimes I feel like we still lock ourselves in a tomb, that we hide for some reason. That the whole idea of being able to face God face to face can be scary to us. Why do we hide? Are we afraid that we're not worthy of God's love? I think the idea that Jesus came to us is proof beyond any doubt of how far God will go to show how much we are loved. Are we afraid that we're unworthy? The fact that we live, we're a beloved child of God, made in God's image. That's enough to make us worthy of love. Are we afraid that there's something that we did that is unforgivable? There is nothing that the light of Christ cannot illuminate and show us the way to God's mercy and forgiveness. So, why don't we continue to entomb ourselves? Why do we continue to hide from God's love? Why do we find the security of the place of death more inviting than the bask in life? Behold, the light of Christ. We say it's hidden in the tomb. But I suggest, how often are we the ones hiding in the tomb, fearful of the light of Christ, preferring the security of the dead over the openness and freedom that God grants us all? Considering this, let's once again consider the story of Jesus' resurrection and how not death even itself could hold Christ back, and how those who desired to seal him up and his message up forever could not succeed, for the light could not be held even by death itself. Join me now on this journey as we once again consider how the tomb will be broken open. We are now going to be doing a series of lessons and hymns. For those who may have attended a Christmas service where there's been a presentation of lessons and carols, this is roughly modeled after that. We're going to read 5 different parts of the Easter story, and there will be a musical response after each one. Some will follow with a hymn. There will be one that will follow with an anthem. I'd like to now invite Bob to read our first lesson, Early Easter Morning, from John 20, verses 1 through 4.